It is still a very strong system as we are just now assessing the data. Maximum sustained winds 140 miles per hour, the pressure at 949 millibars, and the northern eye wall is pounding the eastern tip of Cuba. So these are the latest stats. If you're following at home, it's moving toward the north at 9 miles an hour. There's the center of circulation, 30 miles south-southwest of the eastern tip of Cuba. We'll take you now straight to the projected path and talk about whether we've seen any shifts in this. We do know that once it moves beyond Cuba, heading into the Bahamas on tomorrow, and still could be a very formidable system forecast to be a Category 4. And then as we're going out in time, still expecting the closest approach to our area to happen on Thursday. So we were wondering if we would see any shift toward the west in the projected path, because earlier we were noting that the forecast models had shown a shift to the west, and there does appear to be a little more of a shift toward the west now, a little more Broward being implicated back into the cone. But remember, all along we were never focusing on this center line, but of course the entire cone. So here's what we're looking at for the projected path, and a lot of the east coast of the U.S. will simply have to pay attention to the system. We are under a tropical storm watch, and that does extend from Marathon, northbound, Islamorada, Key Largo into Miami-Dade, and also Broward County. And I got to check this. It looks like some hurricane watches may now be in play for a section of Broward. We're just getting this in. I'm assessing everything. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our Max Mayfield.
Okay, well, let's take a close look at this on the satellite image here. That eye is there. It's a little more cloud covered, so it's just not as distinct as it has been, but that core is still, you know, it's definitely hitting eastern Cuba, and maybe some of the hurricane force winds are still affecting the extreme western portions of Haiti. But look how far out those rain bands extend, both west and, well, all quadrants actually. Now, one thing I want to show you, the new European model, you know, this is not a slam dunk forecast by any means here. These are historically the two best computer models that we have. The United States global model, the global forecast system there labeled GFS, and the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting in orange. They've been number one, number two for I don't know how many years now. And just look at the little bullseye there. This is tomorrow morning north of eastern Cuba, between eastern Cuba and the central Bahamas. I'm going to play this out a little bit here, and they both have the same idea, that northwestward motion. The European is a little bit slower than the GFS here, and then beyond that time you can see the European actually hits near Palm Beach there, and the orange model actually takes it in a little bit. So that model is actually farther to the west than the others. Just want to make one point on the cone. The middle of that cone is within 60 miles of the southeast coast. Its closest point of approach is up there near Palm Beach, but still very close to us. I just want to make sure that you know that the impacts from the storm, and that means the wind, the rain, and the storm surge can extend beyond that cone. And just looking at this down the Caribbean, you could see that you know, those rain bands extend well out away from the cone.
And I just want to mention, Max, that the hurricane watch extends now from Golden Beach north to the Volusia-Brevard County line, and talking about what kinds of winds we could see. And we're going to have a lot more specifics on this later. Tropical storm force 39 to 73 miles per hour, and the threshold for hurricane force winds 73 plus miles per hour. But we'll get more into detail about that coming up in a few.
And you know, people are asking, you know, exactly how strong the winds are going to be. And, you know, as we said yesterday, it really depends on exactly how close that center gets and how far out the wind field extends. We don't know that right now. The hurricane center is actually expanding that wind field in the forecast a little bit. So we're not going to get out. I don't see how we're going to get away with not having a warning of some type here in southeastern Florida.
All right. Well, we're going to go back there and keep looking at some information, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Lori.
Betty and Max, can we ask you one question? We're getting a lot of inquiries on social media about shutters because folks don't have a lot of time now. What do you think, Max?
Well, I think they've got tonight and tomorrow, and I'm sure the emergency manager will say something about that. Personally, if we have a major hurricane, a Category 4 hurricane forecast this close to us, I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm fortunate I've got accordion, so I can close mine. I'm probably going to do that, or my wife will probably do that, really, give her credit for that. But That's going to be a call, you know, I'm not going to, I just don't want to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then if it does shift a little more to the west, I'm not going to worry about it. If it's on the low end of the tropical storm force wind scale, well, you know, we can handle that. But if it's the upper end, close to hurricane or, you know, above, well, then you wish you'd put them up.
Well, the mayor of Broward County has already recommended that we do that, but every advisory proves to be even more important than the last one, so something we'll continue to watch. Thanks a lot, Max and Betty. We'll get back to you in just a moment.